boss babes, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I will be showing you how to set up a small area that you have like I do for your YouTube content creating. Now, I do have two different settings that I go back and forth between when I'm shooting my YouTube videos, one for lead talks and then one for every other video. I also will be adding in how I set up my backdrop to do photo shoots for Instagram. Typically, this is how my room looks when I'm not shooting. It's a meditative prayer and reading area that I dedicated to God. When I'm not shooting lead talks, I pull all of that up and then I set this area up behind me, which I will be showing you today. I also will be adding in how I use my backdrops to do some in-home shots, especially because it just finished snowing in New York. At the moment, I do not have my studio light set up, just so you all can see what the natural light and then my above light is giving. And then you'll also see the process of me setting up my lights and how I change it and move it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I will come back and talk to you all about little tips and things to look out for when you are setting up your small space. Okay, today I am doing the photo shoot and I'm shooting lead talks. So the first one we're going to go over is how to set up a small space for a photo shoot. Let's get into it. So I moved my camera back so you guys can see a wider angle. This won't be in the shot, but I won't be able to tell officially until I get ready to actually shoot. So here's the white backdrop that I will be using for the photo shoot. Honestly, you can use any color sheet or backdrop that you want that will go for the look that you're going for. But I have bought this a while ago, so this is what I'm going to be using, and we'll work around that. Remember, you can use any color that you want. I'm using the sheet for sure is because I have a lot going on in the back. I want to make sure that the backdrop is set. For this portion specifically, make sure you have the rights or access to pin things on the wall to make that mess, because I'm rigging this up, so just make sure you have the rights.
Getting closer to midnight, I try to get closer to you, drinking courage from my red cup now. I will soon make a move.
Alright, so this is the first hanging of this backdrop. I might have to lower it so I have more sheet at the bottom, because I'm going to be using this chair for the shoot. So this is the framing that I'm basically going for. I'm going to be seated on the chair, so I'm not worried about this space up here. I'm more so going to make sure that I just have enough to cut off when I edit. Don't be afraid to use your creativity, for sure. I'm also recording this portion so I can see the framing of what it looks like on the camera. So I might do some shots that are like this. Also, the sheet does not have to be super tight and straight across. On the creative look you are going for, you can have it kind of raunchy or you can have it tight straight across. What I'm going for, I wanted it tight with a little bit of bend, because clearly this is a sheet, so I'm not stressing it to be perfect. So I did just check my framing. I do love how it looks. I just got to push my camera back a little bit further. But what I want to focus on right now is setting up my lights, and then we can kind of work again on the framing. So let's get to the lights and all that.
If it's a shout out, baby, I adore you. Maybe I adore you. Yeah, I'm feeling high, I'm up on cloud nine. Baby, I adore you. I try to focus on breathing. My heart is skipping a beat. Your lips against a red cup makes me lose my mind.
Alright, so the shoot is a wrap. It took me about an hour and a half for two different looks. Go ahead and look at the photos that I did. These I loved. My goal was not to take 1,000, 10,000, honestly, like I usually do. So I made sure I took about a good 20 of each look, because I only need 2 photos, and that's what I'm going to work with. It was a little bit frustrating at some moments because this wasn't long enough for what I wanted for the flooring, and I didn't want to have a mixture of the white sheet and the floor, so it was a little frustrating, but I just stayed hopeful and excited about creating and what I am here to do. We're going to go ahead and transform this area into my next YouTube set setting, which is more of an up close and personal frame. But before I lay my carpet down and really set up that setting, I'm going to go ahead and do a nice cleanup. So that's what this next portion will be, and I'll be back with the process of laying down the carpet.
I want you, that's all I know. Trying my best.
So I want to add this in really quick. The main thing when you are working with a small room and you do have two different settings that you are doing, make sure you have your videos prepared. Make sure you have basically your videos and what you're going to create prepared for the week, so you know if you should shoot 2 or 3 videos in that one moment. Break everything down and then set your room back up. If you decide to keep this area up for just your shooting, that is even better, because you don't have to keep setting up, breaking down, setting up, because I did dedicate that area for my reading, prayer, and meditative spot. That's my original look. So when I'm doing these videos, I make sure I have them lined up so I can knock them out for the week, and that my prayer area is set back up beautifully, and everything is all good in the world.
You've been staring since I came in. I know you wanna get to know me, but honestly I came with my girls, wanna dance by ourselves. Can't you tell? Baby, baby, I have thick skin. Yeah, I don't let things get to me. But do you want me to spell it out for you right now? I'm not feeling your vibe. Crystal clear that you're
Have the string lights on.
get mad, I cannot control what might happen. You think you can put your hands on my body. I'm no damsel in distress.
All right, so this area is now set up for when I do my lead talks, which is when I sit down, I get more personal. I don't typically hang up any kind of frames because I use them when I'm doing other things, and I try to always switch up the vibe of each video depending on what I'm recording. This is what the next frame looks like. So I figured I might as well go ahead and sit in the frame so that you all can see it from what I literally would do for lead talks. So if I wanted those lights in frame, I would do something like that. It just depends on what I'm talking about and how the light looks. So yeah, this is another setup that I use. When it is a closer shot like this, it makes it so much easier to place everything as you like it in your frame and how you see it. Another tip I would say is when you're doing your framing, try not to have like an outside line just kind of like randomly placed. You can see how it looks a little off. Even if you play with your camera and you just kind of boom. Now the frame kind of flows and looks like it's just one shot. I also use this pillow. If I were to move it, you can just see a little bit more happening. Boom. Now you can't. And then I kind of sit in the middle like this. As a content creator, it definitely takes a lot, especially if you don't have a separate space already set up for this area. All right, so I'll talk to y'all tomorrow to show you my last setup. Now I'm going to show you all how I set up my space for every other video that is not lead talks. So let's just go ahead and jump into it.
Boy, you better sit down, you just shut your mouth. Cause I don't need a man to make me feel fine. Better sit down, you just shut your mouth. Yeah. You better sit down, you just shut your mouth. Cause I don't need a man to make me feel fine. Better sit down.
As you already see, I definitely always vacuum before and after I move the carpet. Let's get back into it.
Put your hands on my body. I'm no damsel in distress. Come too close, I might just lose it. I knock you down like boom, 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 boom.
So this is how a real-time framing would look. The only thing that I don't have on right now are my powerful bright lights. Depending on what I'm shooting, I will change the background just a little bit or add my plant. So depending on what your video is about and what you have available to you, you can kind of play with the color contrast. Sometimes I'll add my plant, which you can barely see because the framing is a little bit shorter. And I also try to cut off this big pole. Before it was like the pole, then the door. So I just try to angle it perfectly where it's not too noticeable. Instead of it looking like a long pole, it just kind of looks like a part of the wall that's like lifted. I'll also have this in the background, which kind of just adds a little bit more color and kind of fills in that space. Just make sure that when you're doing your framing, you're getting the best light, as centered as much as you can be, and trying to filling up little space. So that's how you can fill up the space. I did get these two from Burlington about a year ago, and then I bought this sometime in 2020. It was on sale. I'm so happy that I caught it on sale. For this, sometimes I play around with the framing if I want to kind of actually show off a piece of clothing. But if not, I usually keep it tilted and it just adds more color. I do switch these out as well, depending, again, the lights, the color coordination that I have going on. Because I know this is what I'm working with, I do try to also color coordinate in that with depending on what I'm wearing. So most of my tops are beige, black, some kind of pink. You definitely want to play around with what you have. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. Thank you for joining me on this how to set up your small space for your YouTube setup or photo shoot or anything that you want to just do creatively in your own space. Go ahead and drop in the comment section any other ideas that you have or any like deals on things that, you know, hook us up. You gotta work what you got, use what you have, look around your room, look around your house, look around for deals that like Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find affordable price points of people just wanting to get rid of things. eBay is always still a great thing to look at as well. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, whether it's YouTube, whether it's creating TikTok videos or doing what you can in your own space for Instagram shots and just being creative because we are creators. I'll catch you all in the next video as I'm going to go ahead and clean up the rest of my room so that I am set up and ready to shoot my next video for this week. God bless you. Later.